Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Heather. How are
Good
you today?
morning. I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
I love it. I love when people respond back with amazing, fantastic, fabulous is one of my favorites. Instead of just the okay. It's the holiday season. Come on, let's bring up the cheer and the spirit. That's what it's all about, right? So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, as we get closer, like this weekend's a big weekend, right? A lot of Catholics, a lot of people who aren't Catholic are also celebrating Christmas. So it's for us in my household, it's a time for just family getting together. For the first time, we're hosting Christmas, so that's been a whole new experience for us.
Ooh, that's gonna
Things
be
are.
so fun. How many people are coming over?
We have like 16 people in total.
Okay.
16 and two dogs. So there you go. 18 is the count as 18, or maybe it's 16 and a half. My dogs are very small. But yeah, I know just some really, it's been an interesting process, right? We think about all the things that go on at work and there's stress tied to things that need to be done, especially now it's year end. And a lot of people are just trying to wrap up their financials, their business, new onboarding, offboarding new clients, whatever that is. We don't think about the stuff that happens in our house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like so many things. Either it's automatic for a lot of us, or we are just trying to figure out how do we manage all of this, right? But the stress is the same, right? It doesn't matter if you're at work, you're at home. The stress is the same.
The
So,
stress is the same. The emotions come up if you've lost loved ones. You pull out Christmas decorations or make their favorite foods. I know my sister made my dad's favorite cookies this week. It's like,
no.
oh, I love these I love these cookies only because they're my dad's. There's other cookies I'd like first, but I love these cookies because they were my dad's favorite.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because one of the dishes I'm making this year is my mom used to do yams covered in maple syrup, like sweet potato.
Oh,
Oh, I know. Even as I'm like, and here's the thing: I'm the only one that eats it, so I'm gonna have to make myself a small serving, especially after this year, right? And all the changes that we've both gone through from a health perspective. It's like, normally I'd have like this giant tray and I would eat three-quarters of it, but I'm going to have to make it just a
I
little bit
love it.
smaller.
But you know what it reminds me of is that whole concept that you shared with everyone of, how do you infuse your food with love? And how
Mm,
do you make it, when I'm making recipes that are handed down,
yeah.
I'm thinking about those past memories of family or me watching my mom make these things. And some of the things I don't even have recipes for anymore. So like they're lost. We've tried to recreate them. So my sister's um, mother-in-law is coming from Portugal, and my sister's really excited because she's going to learn how to make some crab cakes and some
Mm.
lasoish, which is a shrimp a shrimp
That
dish.
was very
Um,
good. Very good. Rissoche. Very good.
right? John's like, I know that,
I
but
know
these
rissoche.
things get lost if you don't hand them down. So but going to what you taught everyone, what do you do when you put stuff in the freezer?
Oh yes, I actually, I took a photo of it the other day. I meant to send it to you, but I write love, abundance, health on all the stuff I freeze pack, right? So like I have one of those things that suck the air out. And you put them in the freezer. But when I do that, I always date them. How many pieces are in the bag, and then I also write love. Actually, it's so funny. I'll send you a photo afterwards. But I write love. You talked about this on your trip when you were doing your hike on the the cold pack that you put over your knee and it had love on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we don't realize is we infuse the things, inanimate objects, cloths, whatever, like whatever that is, by just writing the word on it, you're giving it a different energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the one thing I always write on my food is health and abundance, right?
Mm.
There's always enough and it's always healthy. And I'm like, and I learned this years ago. I can't remember who it was from, but it was just one of those things that you can put love and abundance into everything that you do just by just putting the words, because that's the energy that you're putting towards it. And I love your analogy of just writing it on your cold pack and putting it all over your knee to give you what you needed at the moment on from a health perspective. but it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And we infuse and we tie, and both you and I, we know that we are constantly anchoring feeling and emotion into things that are happening around us, especially our foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things I've talked about is, Diane and I on a Saturday night. Okay, actually now is chestnut season's coming to an end, but between October and November is chestnut season for us, right? So we always roast them because my mom used to roast these chestnuts, and every time we drink a glass of wine with the chestnuts, we're thinking about her. And it's
No.
that memory that continues to live on, right? So, we don't necessarily have to forget the past, but I think there's an element that you kind of touched on is the past is like the good stuff. Like we're trying so hard to let go of the bad things in the past that we also throw out the good things. It's like we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that expression, but it's like we want to let go of, for me, for the longest time, and actually I spoke to you about this. I wanted to let go of my heritage for so long, right? Like my parents are Portuguese. I came from Portugal originally. And I try to stay away from that culture so much that I even denied the fact that I was Portuguese sometimes. Like, I know I'm ashamed of it now, but I've just gotten back into embracing that, right? And getting back into the fact that, yes, this is who I am. This is my heritage. Let's bring this forward so the next generation can also experience it, because there's so much beauty there. And it's truly like, it's just amazing what happens when you can step into that.
John, I love those stories, and I love that you're re-embracing your heritage, because it's you think about what do you want to live on as all of the good life lessons that you learned, and pass those down to the kids, and then it gets passed down again, and stories are told, and right around this season, lots of really good stories, loving stories get told. So think about the legacy that you want to leave, and in fact, this I make lasagna, and I only make it once a year, so it becomes a very special dish, and it's on Christmas Eve that it gets made. And I invited my niece. I said, "Why don't you come over and make it with me?" And my intention is like, okay, like this is a thing that we created as a family, because Heather doesn't cook that often. So they get really excited when she does, because I can cook. But also, is this going to be a tradition that continues on? Because we open up our Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve is a big celebration, and Christmas Day is a big celebration. So it's a little nuts, but it's fun. It's really fun. And that tradition, here's a funny thing, came when I was a kid, so that we would open our presents up at night. So we would go to bed, Santa would come, and then we would be able to get out of bed and go open up our presents. And that way my parents could sleep in. Now, as I'm an adult, I realized that was the smartest thing that they could have ever done. They could drink as much as they wanted, but we had to go to bed so Santa could come, right? So we went to bed while the adults had fun. That was masterful, honestly.
That is so funny. Yeah, let me sleep in. Yeah, open them now, and then you can open. Yeah, with Diane. So Diane and I and the kids, we used to wait till midnight, right? And we'd have to stay up. No matter how exhausted you were, you still have to stay up. But yeah, no, that's actually so. Secret be told, we opened ours already. So I don't know if that's bad, but. But we still got one end of the tree. Just don't tell anybody now that the entire internet's here. But I just wanted to take a quick step out for a second. Good morning, Gunjan. You're joining us from your morning commute. Thank you again for being a part of this, and just say good morning to us. So yeah, today it sounds like we're talking about traditions. We're talking about, again, and we continued on the theme from Monday, rituals, right? Things that we get to pass on, the good stuff, right? And let's not let go of the good stuff. Let's hold on to that. Let's pass them on. I was listening to a speech a couple of weeks ago where the lady was talking about traditions and how they're being lost, especially with new generations moving into new countries, being in new work environments, even traditions of being in one city versus another. So I know for me, a tradition in Toronto now is going down to the Christmas market. The distillery Christmas market, and just kind of being in there, I got to see the Dior tree. It was beautiful. And just because, you don't have to let go of all the traditions, you can still hold on to them, but you can also create space for new traditions.
Yes.
Right? So actually, I want to ask. So, what new traditions outside of your lasagna, which I love, and I'm so happy you're bringing somebody in so they can experience it, so they can continue on that tradition. But what other new traditions have you started for yourself, Heather?
Oh, I don't know. I probably have to give that some thought because they're probably just infused into my daily rituals already. But I'm doing I'm doing 10 minutes of meditation every single day. So that's now I'm on my second 30-day stint for that. I think that's a good one. And 10 minutes is really easy to do. It's good. But I'm doing the Perfect Health meditation right now by Deepak Chopra. You can just Google
Mm,
it. It's easy to do day by day. And it's not about perfect health. It is about perfect health, but it's about the mindset of perfect health, which goes back to
mm,
what we were talking about, infusing love in everything you do, listening to our body. We are intuitive beings. So it's really amping up my awareness for what I'm bringing to the world. And the love piece, John, isn't just for pieces of our body that hurt, or our food that we want to put in the freezer. And I know this sounds crazy to do, but it works. And I went out, and I think I declared this on Monday, that I was going to be doing some shopping and I was going to go out into the world with lots of love. Guess what happened? I got the first parking spot. I got the first parking spot. Like, that's like you got to celebrate these the universe wants you to win. Like, the universe wants you to win. And yes, I want to win too. So let's do it. So,
yeah.
I could have gone, and I went to Costco. No, Costco wasn't the first spot, but it was the second row. So, like, celebrate small wins.
Yeah. No, you say that, and that reminds me of something I learned from Gunjan a couple of weeks ago, where every day celebrate the small wins, right? It's funny you say that because I also went to Costco, I think it was yesterday, because I needed to pick up some final items for our list. And I too, as soon as I was driving in, I'm like, I want to get a spot next to the handicap, which is next to the front of the door, right? And as I drove in, this lady's coming out of the exact spot that I wanted, which is like, okay. And I got excited for a second. I'm like, yes. But the other part was like, yeah, this is normal, right? Like, so there's
Yes.
also it now is the norm, right? So the expectations you set for yourself and the things around you is what becomes norm. And when I got there, I'm like, yes, this is just normal. Like I just expect it now, right? And imagine if we took that into every area of our life, whether it's our health, it's our finances, it's our relationship, it's our families. It's like we have all these amazing things that are going on, and this becomes the new norm.
Well, and John, just because it's the norm doesn't mean that you don't celebrate it, right? Like, you're
Yes.
still in your car going, yes. Like, me and my husband, we watch Jeopardy all the time. He's really, really smart with the book kind of stuff, and I'm really, really smart with like pop culture stuff, not the book stuff. And for whatever reason, this Jeopardy was my Jeopardy. Like, I got some questions right, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. I was counting, I was keeping score, I was celebrating, and he's just like, he wasn't getting the answers because it was my topics. And I was like, yes. Not, I'm a little bit competitive, just slightly, but just those
Just a
small
little.
wins, a half an hour of Jeopardy. And I felt like I could tackle the world because I had celebrated those moments and it's silliness, but that's how life should be, right? Fun and
Yeah.
playful and full of energy and full of celebration. And I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm most excited about today, John. So we talked about the reflection sheet and the reflection of last year and our intentions for next year. Way better process than New Year's resolutions. But I've got actually two friends coming over today, and we're going to do that process together. And I'm really excited because when you vocalize it and not just journal it, it even becomes more powerful. So having someone to just share those with, and I can't wait to see what comes out of that, and even share on Friday what comes out of that. But
Yeah.
setting ourselves up for powerful intentions for next year and celebrating the accomplishments of the previous year. And John, you highlighted doing that monthly, and we're gonna that is actually that's a new tradition I'm gonna start too. I'm gonna put it in my calendar and just have it there all the time.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And it's building on, going back. I love that you're doing that as a group, right? And for those of
Mm.
you, I've sent an email out to a couple of you already, so you already know this. but this is also a great exercise for those that are in teams, right? So if you are really looking at the past year, you're doing a reflection, it's a great little team exercise to say, hey, what were our big wins for the year? What did we accomplish? Because I think we forget those things, or we kind of put them to the back of our minds because we're so focused on things that are happening right now in this moment. It's a great time just to reflect on that, but also looking at what are some opportunities that we can build on for next year. What challenges are we facing, and what challenges do we need to overcome so we can get stronger as a team? So it's a great opportunity, for myself, for Diane and I. We've already gone through the process. We've sat down, we've looked at it. We're going to do it together as a couple, and even for couples, right? What as a couple did we accomplish this year? And I know off the top of my head, one quick accomplishment was getting into a new home in January. Right?
Oh my God, that seems so long ago, but
I know.
yeah, that was this year.
I feel like I've been in this place forever. And, we got the spirit of, we got a positive, good energy vibe. And, it took us a long time to get here, right? Like we were house hunting for like a year and a half. And then we finally landed on this place, and it was the perfect place for us, right? So sometimes you got to be patient too. But anyways, going back to accomplishments and that worksheet, do it with your spouse, with your partner, do it in a team. It gives it more energy when you get to do it outside of yourself. And like you said, Heather, when you vocalize it, when you give it sound and energy and emotion, that's when it even becomes more powerful. Right? So for those that work in an office environment, this could be even a lunchtime exercise. Take 15, 20 minutes, go through it together. I know not everybody's open to like talking about things, so let those people go off and work in a corner. But if you have a team that is open to collaborating and just conversing about this, I think it's a beautiful exercise to walk through, because you'll discover things about the team that you maybe didn't even realize were going on. And there might be challenges that arise from the conversation that you didn't even know were happening, right?
And as a leader, it gives you a chance to recognize the team again at another moment, and celebrate the behaviors that got those successes, because those are the behaviors that are going to get the same successes or even better successes in the next year. So it's a great place to know what's important to your team, because they're sharing those accomplishments matter to them, and then reinforcing that. So that it is a really positive and powerful process to do with your teams, John. You're right on the money for that.
Yeah. No, I love the last part of the reflection sheet. What's the one word you're taking with you into next year? Right? Strength, courage, confidence, whatever that is, that becomes the theme for 2023. And that to me is like, if I can start the year with that, like I can, fireworks are going off in my head. You're just going to feel so, man, it's going to feel so strong. You're going to take that in, and it's going to this is what 2023 is going to be all about. We've gotten over the hump of the last 3 years now. I'm going to say 3 years, and we're going into something way more powerfully. And here's the beauty is you get to design that. You get to be in control of it. Design it. Don't let it design you, right? Because if you're listening to the news, it's going to have a little bit of impact on you, which is why I'm trying to stay away from it as much as I can right now. But yeah, be intentional. And one of the things we talked about in the reflection worksheet is intention, right? So be intentional where you want to be in 2023, because you get to design that, you get to control that. And I love that. It's so powerful, so powerful.
John, do you have your word for 2023 yet?
It's funny you say that, and it's a word that I've been thinking about for a long time. So I'll share it here. My word for 2023 is abundance.
Abundance. Okay.
Abundance.
Ooh, and it can show up in so many ways. People define abundance sometimes with wealth, but abundance is more love, more movement. Like it captures so much stuff. So that's a really powerful word. I love it.
So my word's abundance. What's yours, Heather?
Mine is strength. So, and that also has that carryover. So physically strength, but also strength in, doing the things that are hard or scare the crap out of me. Strength in making decisions that are really powerful for a powerful life. Strength in knowing and trusting myself. So
Yeah.
though it will carry over into, and maybe I'll even borrow your words, right? I can borrow yours whenever I need it, and then go over. Gunjan's got creation, which is fantastic. That's another word that's like, I'm going to create something today, and you can celebrate creating the small things and the big things, but it shows up in so many ways. And
I love it. Gunjan, I'm going to write that word down because I think that is such a strong accountability word. And we're going to be checking in on our words every month. So we'll do it as part of this podcast, but we're also going to be doing it. If you're already on our mailing list, we're going to try to capture everybody's word. And Felicia is courage. I love that. Courage. And that applies to so many different areas of your life. I love it because you can expand into everything that you do. Right? Wow. So powerful. So we got creation, we got courage, we got strength, we got abundance, we got all these beautiful words. And if you're listening to this, if you're listening to the replay, by all means, drop your word in the chat or drop your word in the comments. We'd love to know what that is. And we're going to do our best to capture everybody's words. And, we're going to speak to that next month and see how it's going for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't believe we're at time already. We're already
so
over
the call
time.
to action is, what's your word? What's your word?
What's your word?
Do nothing. What's your intention for next year? One word. Get that written down on some sort of piece of paper. Share it with others. Ask people at work today, what's their one word? What's their intention? People will be like, that's a great question. And we'll drop the download again in the comments, but it's on both of our sheets. Share it with anyone that you think also would benefit from this, and we'll see everyone on Friday, and then we're going to take a little break over the holidays.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we'll be back on Friday, and we're going to follow up with you on Friday because you said you're going to have that conversation today. I'd love to hear what that's going to sound like and what showed up for you guys as a team as you were going through the exercise. But that is it. I want to keep talking. I want to keep talking, but okay, I want to go. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.